Oh, we can hear you now.
I don't know why.
Hello, everyone. This is Korak. I am joined by Brett for an A1 matchup for the top of the division, basically, as we have four of the top scores in A1. Of course, we have Eric taking the top position after the 12 games, but you see all those eights in red off to the right, and it's going to be a really intense match. So we're basically waiting for it to start. And you look at the stats, and these have been very consistent players. Of course, Steve has ridiculous scores and an almost 20% spread between winning percentage and feed percentage, and has just absolutely dominated every table he's been at. We of course had Lucas and Kenyon at the finals last season, but it looks like the game's about to start. So we start off with Kenyon as first dealer. Nice little pin fu shape, a bunch of pairs, but I think you just go for the pin fu, maybe a Tanyao. On the right, it's pretty standard hand. A couple draws you could add Junchan, but honestly, I think you should go for a normal hand. Across the way, we have a pretty standard pin fu hand as well. Very distant Itsu, but that seems a little greedy. North is Dora, but not sure what you could do with it. On the left, we have very nice shapes, especially a callable East. You have an extra Dora, which could potentially turn into Yakuhai, and I believe that is already Rian Shanten, so very close already.
And I fixed my audio issues, so I'm here now.
Hey, two people is better than one. So what do you think of the hands right now? As we see Lucas hitting Ishan 10.
I the dealer hand unfortunately is not very quick looking, so that's going to be a struggle to reach Tempai.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything right now is waiting on Lucas's hand to finish. Maybe even picks up an Itsu now. You're probably too late to pull in the Hanitsu, but there's just so much value here. It'd be really sad to win 1,000 with his hand if you call the East. And we're getting other hands starting to develop, but specifically Steve's is starting to come together. But you do have those awkward 1-1-2 and 5-7 in Mon. And we see a shift to potentially Toy Toy or Tanyao by Kenyon.
Holding on to the pair of nines and tossing away that 8 as it can't really connect to anything. I'm interested to see what
I think the
will be
9
discarded here.
yeah, the 9 comes out now. You have a lot of Tanyao options. You were keeping the option open for Toy Toy before, but you're fine with it now. Ooh, interesting draw with a 5-so. I think you got the 6-mon, 6-mon. Ooh, goes for the Tanya lock, and I don't really see waiting on 5-so 6-mon, but there's a lot of flexibility to change that weight.
You can, of course, call Pone on the 7-mon. Or, ooh.
That is Tempai now for dealer, waiting on 6-mon, 7-mon. Shampon, of course, we see 2 6-mon, which are locked in Lucas's hand, and 1 7-mon across the way, so there's 1 left in the wall. This is the other thing. You cut
There's
that East
7,
pair, you're what? Well, yeah, but that's
unfortunately,
never coming
joins
out.
the
If
hand.
it fits perfectly into the hand. You're absolutely thrilled with that one.
Absolutely. So this hand in this current form, unfortunately, will not be finishing, but there's, of course, a potential of a 5 or 8-mon draw, and then you can discard one of the 7s and go for a much better weight that
Yeah,
way.
Rhiannon weight would be huge here. You'd love to get the Toy Toy, but it's just so like, oh, we have Tempai on the right. Will we see Arichi? No, instead takes Dama waiting on 3-pin. Now, interestingly, there are a ton of those in the wall. 3 left. There's
And
one of
there's
them.
one right now.
I mean, I think you just push it. I don't see any reason not to. And of course, because there was no Ricci, cannot win on that tile.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, I think 6-mon comes out here. I think we're going to see a deal in. Ooh, manages to dodge it. I mean, I'd still cheat that every time and throw 7, so.
I would agree with that. You're already open, and
Boom.
it's not a call that shows off what you're actually waiting on.
Now, admittedly,
I
the
mean,
Mon
it does.
tiles look pretty dangerous too. Oh no, and draws the other end of the weight. See, that's I kind of would have liked the Ricci on the 1-pin 9 so for that exact reason. You have to figure they're pretty good in the wall at this point. But Lucas just can't get to Tempai no matter what. And Kinyu's going to keep pushing here. Steve's very close to Tempai. Would love to cheese something. Thinking of the con. Does
It
take the
is.
con. Isn't rewarded though. I'd Chi the 1. Take the Tempai every time. Yeah, Chi cut what, 7? Or the 8 rather? Well, the 4 is Tempai anyway. And you can't reach you this late, so you're fine with that. In the end, we have 3 players Tempai. And Steve, just the con didn't give him the Tempai there, so has to pay out the 3,000 to result move to East 1-1. Dealer has a few pairs, Adora, a bunch of lone Yakuai. If one of those pairs up, you have a lot of calling options. Otherwise, it feels pretty slow. All right, we have pretty standard Pinfu hand, maybe a 4-5-6 Sunshoku. Across the way, we see a bunch of pairs. 4 pairs. Adora honestly feels a bit like Cheat Toy. You'd love to go for a normal hand, but if the draws push you toward Cheat Toy, it's something you have to at least be thinking about. And on the left, we have Yuck.
Indeed.
Maybe a Kokushi, but even cutting the West
with 8, but
gives that. Yeah,
the
it's
West and the 9. It's
ugh.
not going to come together that way.
Yeah, that's well, maybe go for the Daisangen, except it's dead because of the 2 Hatsu discarded. Because now your only pair is the one that has 2 discards out. Okay. Dealer does draw another East, and now that's 2 Han, if that gets called. I mean, we have to assume it's going to come out from Lucas at some point.
Unless he's just that desperate to hold on to something that may become a Yakuhai, which I don't think would be true.
Yeah, I mean, there's, oh, well, just draw it yourself. That's the answer here. Goes ahead and locks in the shapes. I wonder about a 2-mon cut there instead, because you already have extra pairs elsewhere. But you could definitely throw the 6 there. Okay, well, there's the 8, of course. We're now Ishunten on the right for what would just be Tanyao. And honestly, not too many ways to improve that shape. Maybe if you pair up the 2-so and then draw a 3-pin or 6-pin later. Oh, what a terrible draw. The 1-2, the 2-4-6-8 is just ugly.
You hate to see it. I mean, you have to discard one of those, and then if you draw the 7 now, unfortunately, that like it can just cascade out of control.
I think I would achieve the 6-pin there. You have a lot more flexibility. You don't know what your pair is, but you go from a bad Ishunten to a bad Ishunten to a much better Ishunten. And we actually see Lucas starting to make a move here, calling the 2-pin with Dora shape, looking to probably try and shift to Chanta. And yeah, now everyone's like, okay, we need to make something happen. Ooh, well, there's your pairs, but it doesn't really matter here. Honestly, I just drop Hatsu Hatsu. Since it's dead, there's no reason to have it around. It does.
Indeed. A 1-pin drop there, most likely.
Oh no, I'm not throwing Dora, especially against the 3 discarded not that long ago.
Oh, my apologies for not paying attention to Dora, as I do in game.
Yeah, that is how you get punished very severely. We have an upgrade for Kenyan. Now Ishan 10 cut it and does cut the 1 pin now with like the 2-so or 5-so. Of course, 5-so would actually finish the hand, but honestly, just feels pretty bad right now. Okay, I agree with the 9 pin call. Everyone else at the table's like, what on earth are you doing?
Right. It's also it's not a great shape to try and reach Tenpai with, as the pair of 4s is connected to that 3. So you
Well, we have
have the
Tempai
6.
on the right for 3-so. Of course, if you draw the 7-so or 8-so, you'd probably throw the 3. Of course, even the 8-so draw would be Furi 10. But we now have K10 on the left. Ooh, that's a good weight.
There we go.
Cuts the 6. And is it everyone at the table Tempai? I think they are. There's the 1. We'll deal in for the double tone. Of course, you have the Homba from last time, 4,200, and we have another East 1. You guys are really nice starting in here. Not much value, but really good shapes. On the right, we have a pair of Hatsu, and I think you're just going to start calling. Speaking of calling, we see an East call across the way. Not much value, but pretty good shapes. Probably just looking to move the turns around. And on the left, we have
more terminals and honors just again.
This one's significantly better than the last one. It's not great, but there's at least a chance with this one.
Right. You've got the 6, 7, 8 there ready to go. The pair of 6s.
You'd love to pull the Sanjiku, but it's a long way off, especially when you see a call and the dealer with this hand.
Ooh.
Well, moves to Ishan 10. Would probably just be Riichi Pinfu. Of course, if you draw the 8-so, you could also add Ipeiko, but there are only 2 of those left. And 1 is in Lucas's hand right now. Well, Steve hasn't really improved the shapes at all, and that's always the problem with those early calls is if you don't complete them, your shapes are going to be very hard to fold with. Ooh, interesting pass on the Hatsu by Bishen. Could have gone for a more direct hand, looking for probably Chitoi, I guess? Well, I think it's just Ricci every time.
There we go.
Oh, and Steve draws the 2-so, which isn't immediately dangerous, but that 5-pin is though. Would be the deal in tile. You can't throw that. I think Steve might even fold here. Oh no, deals in. Ricci Pinfu. And the Aura, and ouch, the 6,400 deal in, and those hurt. I think the 2-so is a lot safer than the 5-pin. The 5-pin just scary, even it being half Suji. Dealer again gets a really nice starting hand here, including a Dora could go Honitsu. I'm just cutting the south here. Could go Tanya. Lots of options. On the right, we have a bunch of pairs. Feels like a Chanta hand, but really you're just going to start calling and see what happens. Across the way, we have pretty standard Tanya hand, maybe Pinfu. And on the left, we have a bunch of pairs, but probably it's going to be a Tanya, not a Tanya, a Pinfu, maybe an Ipeiko in lower Mon. And the interesting thing is the Dora, there are 2 of them. Oh, there you go. Okay, now I'm committing for the Honitsu. Just go for it now. Yeah, I was about to say, no one can use them unless they pair up, and got me a little bit before it got out of my mouth. And now you're just calling this. You didn't even think about this.
Do it. Yeah. Now everyone was a little freaked out.
Well, everyone has to suspect it's exactly what it is, because especially when you see 7-so, 4-so, and then a 4-mon pair cut.
Pair of 4-mon.
Yeah, it's Honitsu. The question is, are there other Yakuhai? Is this going to be the Honitsu Dora 3, or is there going to be another Yakuhai to make it Hanemon?
Do you expect to see the con of 8-peen if an 8 comes out?
Absolutely not. You'd like to keep the 8 pin in the hand because that lets you have the 8 8 8 9 shape. You have a bunch of overlap here. If you call it later for a con, maybe, but if you see someone else throw the 8, you'd pwn it
Mm-hmm.
because you still have then the 1 2 5 6 6 8 9. But really, you're trying to call anything when you're in this type of situation with terrible shapes, but you know what your hand has to be.
Home.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, does
That's
call the 7 pin. Oh, big draw with the Penchon fill in. That is now Ishan 10. Actually, a very wide one. Let's see, what is it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9
Wow.
are all tempi.
Let's see. The best you could hope for, I believe, is the 9.
The
Or
9 or
7.
the 6 or the 4. Yeah, the 7 I think would be. Yeah, I think the 7's actually the best.
Home.
It would be interesting to see if you want to go for Itsu with that type of hand. Let's open Itsu to upgrade this to the Hanemon would be interesting. But we have a Tempai on the left for Tanya only to shut down the very scary dealer hand. Oh, there's a 2. That is not a tile that completes the hand. So I think it comes out and deals in. And the 1,000 plus the Homba ends the big dream.
Very
But got a bunch of points anyway, so you're perfectly fine with that as your East one.
Definitely worse hands to deal into.
Wow, look at that. Dealer has 2 Dora, a bunch of shapes here. If you draw 6 pin, you can even open for the Tanyao, but you're thrilled with that hand. On the right, we have maybe an Itsu in Mon, a pair of Haku. So could call go Honitsu if you want to be really greedy. Across the way, we have pretty standard Pinfu type shapes. And on the left, we have a pair of Chun and decent shapes, but a lot of pairs. Ooh, that 8-mon really helps this hand.
Is not far from Cheetoy. Oh, but then we see the reach.
Oh no, and that 7 pin almost has to come out pretty soon. It is just Reachy Haku.
It's getting closer and closer to Cheetoy.
Yeah, throws the safe 6. Okay. Figuring probably the. Oh my goodness, could even be Suonko. Like you're up. Ooh. Okay, throws the 9. I think I would have just thrown the 7. You see a con of the Haku, so a whole bunch of food now off on the right for Steve. Still just stuck on that 7 pin Penchon where they're all out. Yeah, this is just a push for Suonko now.
You don't think we'll see pwn calls to try and get Cheetoy?
Like, you mean Toy Toy? Well, maybe. You have to
sorry,
call
not
that.
Tanya. Toy Toy.
Yeah, I'm. Wow. Okay. I guess this is just Cheetoy here, and does not actually want to get Cheetoy because we'll deal into Richi Haku with a whole bunch of Fu and 2 Aura chances. So likely Mungon.
Oh man.
I'd absolutely call that force so without even thinking about it. Probably a little scared to throw this 5-mon into the Richi, especially given the discards.
Right.
But when you have a hand like this, you don't have time to mess around.
2 so safe. There's a 4. Interested to see if this will get called.
I'll pass the first one. Okay, it just sell it to Cheetoy. because now you have a dead pair in the hand, and you're going to have to just cut the 7 pin anyway. But now you have potential Fu-riday with a 2-mon, so it's not even that good. And now especially, it would be Suji throwing the 7 pin, so I'd not be surprised to see it come out. But in the meantime, we have Kenyon fighting back now Ishan 10 with a really awkward shape, honestly.
Each.
And there's a
Great
Tempai
reach.
across the way for Ricci Pinfu Dora. Waiting on the 5-8. And of course, we know where all the 5s are. Here's Tempai. I think the 7 just comes out here. I think this is an immediate chase, Ricci. Could throw Forso for safety, but I think you just have to deal. I don't like the Dama at all. Deals in. Ricci Haku. No aura, but that's the awkward 70 Fu 2 on 4,500 hand. That's one that very few people have memorized because it's so rare.
I had that come up in real tiles recently with 70 or 70 and 3. I think that was
Oh yeah, that's just gonna be Mongon. Yeah, though that's a lot more common. And 3 Fu 60, at least with Kiriag and Mongon, will always be Mongon, so anything higher is Mongon. But as you look at these hands, Yu has a pretty good hand here. Really needs the 3 Mon to fill in that penchant, but you're really happy with a hand like this. On the right, we have a pretty nice hand as well. Again, not much value, but you have a floating door, so you could add it there. Across the way, we have really nice shapes. But again, I'm not seeing much value. Maybe a distant Itsuenmon, maybe a Dora draw later, maybe Ipeiko Inmon. But on the left, that's the beautiful hand there with potential Itsu, potential Chinitsu in the Dora suit, no less. And not that far off already. And it just turned 3, and that's with 2 dead draws. So honestly, everyone has pretty good hands, but the big one's the one on the left. Yeah, absolutely selling out.
The Dora on the right is a little tough to deal with right now. And the later we get into this...
Well, you're not worried about that at all because the 3-so, 4-so, 5-so, 6-so, 7-so, you're fine with any shape connecting to the Dora.
Just
So keeping
more
those
and more low Sozu.
Yeah, I mean, that's getting scary. Yeah, what, 3 completed shapes? The problem are those extra Yakuhai that are completely useless in this hand. Needs to pair some of those up. I think that's Tempai across the way. I can't read the weight immediately. Let's see.
I think it's a 1-so. No.
Yeah, that's I would have discarded the 1, which would have still been a really ugly 3-4. Yeah, I think Dama's the way to play that one. That's just an ugly shape. But it is a Champone on the 3-so, which we know is dead, and the 1-so, which has 1 left in the wall.
Each.
And I have a Chase Ricci by Steve the Dealer for Ricci Pinfudora waiting on 2 5-pin, and there are 5 left in the wall, so I will say I expect that one to win this hand.
There's a 5, but it will connect.
Yeah, Bishan is not going to have any of this. Might even Chi here, move around a bit, but is just hard folding. Ooh, we'd have a pretty wide Ishan 10 for Lucas. Question is, if you get Tempai, you're going to take it. And that is Tempai. You 2-so would, okay, just folding at this point. Could have thrown the 2-so or even Ricci waiting on 6-so. But there's the Sumo on the 5-pin. Ricci, Sumo, Pin, Fudora. Any aura would be Mongon. Doesn't hit it, but it's still 7,800 all. And pulls not quite into first place, but very close. And it's 2-3-1. Dealer gets a very nice Pinfu, Tanyao, maybe even 6-7-8 Sanjiku. Really nice starting hand. On the right, we have pretty standard Pinfu shapes. Would really like a 6-mon to fill the 5-7-7-8. Across the way, we see a Call of East and maybe a 7-8-9 Sanjiku, but honestly, just trying to finish anything and get this hand over with. And on the left, we have a pair of Haku and a Lone Shaw Dora. So I think the hand to watch here is still just dealer, even though you'd normally think it's the hand that opened, but that's just kind of awkward to use. Now the 7-8-9 Sanjiku looks a lot more likely. Great draw there for Bishen. Upgrades that to a 2-3-4-5-5-6 in Mon. Another great draw there with a
Ooh.
7, so that's beautiful.
Sprinting towards a nice Tanyo, possibly, hopefully, Pinfu.
Well, interesting. There's the Shlanshaku isn't dead yet. It's just very hard. Ooh, Ryoncon upgrade. I cut the Forso here. Yeah, you have the Peiko options, but that's such a wide Ishanten. Any of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mon or 5, 8 pin. We'll have Tempai for Tanyo. We see the 789 call across the way, and there's the Dragon Call with white coming off on the left. Have the option for going for the Honitsu, even Doritonki, or just the 1,000-point hand. It's going to depend on the draws, how Bishan proceeds. Kenyon's Ishan 10, but I don't think you're going to get the Sanjiku with those shapes.
Nice.
Ooh, awkward 3-pin. I think you just throw it back.
I might have kept the 8-mon and gotten rid of the West. I don't know if that's a good move or not.
The West is Dora, so it's never really in my hand.
Once again, my
yeah, no, like seriously, you need to watch that. It's really important. Ooh, we see very greedy play by Bishan, and there's Tempai for dealer. I think just Ricci the 6. Instead takes the Dama 5-mon weight. And there's a call, and now we have an Ishan 10 on the left. I don't think the door is ever. Ooh, do you con?
Yes.
You can tell he's thinking about it. There's the con. Ooh, and now, ooh, instant Ricci on that 4.
Hands.
Instant Ricci. Would be Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora. Waiting on 5-8. Wait, what? That is dealer with Mongon. You just have to be willing to push. Even if it looks terrifying, you just need to push those. And Zell has a reputation of being very defensive, but I think that's just a really weak play. Ooh, do you throw the live Dora? I think you have to. You have Tempai. Doesn't do it, though. Could see a Chi here, but...
Please see a Chi here.
Well, you could Chi and dump like 7 so, and then you could wait on the 4.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what Steve's going to do. He's going to sit here, has decided he's not throwing anything in Mon at this point. But good weight, dealer, Mongon hand. I mean, I'm disappointed. He should have just taken that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to deal in for just the 1,000 across the way, plus the Homba. But we move on to East 4.
Three people drawing Dora. I am paying close attention to that now.
Yeah, they tend to help. Dealer has a bunch of pairs. Tenchon with the 7, needing the 7-mon. But the 7-mon is the Dora indicator. It's always hard to pull in. We see a call on the right of the east, and again, another penchant waiting on that 7 mon. Other than that, decent shape, pretty close to Tempai. I believe that's Ryan Shunten, but really wide. Across the way, we have pretty standard pin Fu shape, maybe an Itsu in pin. And on the left, we have a Chun pair and a Lone Dora
Home.
honor. A bunch of decent shapes, but nothing's good.
Wow.
Wow. Yep, there's the 7 mon. That is the choke point for this hand. That fixes a whole lot of problems with Lucas's dealer hand here. Is technically Ryan Shanten a very wide one now. Could even arguably take the cheat toy path. I definitely want to cut 3 of them on there. Yes, the floaters are kind of awkward, but you're also giving out the potential 7-so for Ipeco. I understood why he did it though.
Right.
The calling flexibility may turn out to be very useful later. But you're going to have to get rid of that 9 at some point if that's the route you take. Ooh, could even go Sanshiku cutting the 3 here. I definitely cut the 3 mon here.
Has
Yeah.
to go eventually anyway.
Yeah,
So
this gives you the ability to call for the Sanshiku. You have a lot more options here. I think that's a really good play. Ooh, nice draw of the Tuso on the left. That is not quite there, but you're getting closer.
Oh.
Ooh, big draw on that 5. So now the question is, what weight do you want to do? Okay, taking the what will ultimately be Richidora, possibly Peiko, but needs basically anything in pin. A 3 or above is Tempai. Or that'll do it. Okay.
Yeet.
Now, interesting. Which weight do you take? Okay, takes the 5-8. There are 4 of those left. You could have also taken the 9-pin Tonki weight, where there are only 2 left.
I typically try and go for the 2-sided weight, even if it. I just don't
there's
like
nothing wrong with
relying on a
that.
single tile.
Oh yeah, Dora Tonki weights, especially when they're not Dora, always feel really awkward to use. But it's always something you should be thinking about with a hand like this. Nice little Ishanten now for Steve with 2 Dora.
Oh, there's the 9.
Well, that only came out because of the folding, so.
Right, true.
Now it's decision time. Okay, just complete fold now. Oh no, the 9.
And there is the 9.
Three so is 1 chance. The question is, do you really want to push this and decide, no, we're out of here? That is now an Ishanten on the right, but would most likely be 4-10. Oh, it just keeps tempting Steve, and Steve keeps saying, no, not worth it, not yet. But now you're in an awkward situation. What are you going to drop? Cuts the Nakasuji 6 mon, so that'll buy another turn.
One pin not looking safe enough for anyone to drop.
Well, if you're Lucas and you get the 3,000, you're not happy with that result, but you're okay with it. What's really bad is when you have that early reach with a good weight like this, and you just get 1,500. Those are so frustrating. Right now, I don't think you can push that. The 1 pin should be, 1 pin's Kabe. That should always come out.
6 so come out. Oh, it is 1 pin. Hung up a little
Well,
there.
all 4 of the 3 pin are visible at this point, so 1 and 2 are very likely safe. Ooh, that is no, it's not Tempai. Yes, you're obviously not pushing that, and it will just be the 1-player Tempai here. Lucas picks up the 3,000, nets 2,000. We have another East 4. Ooh, really nice shapes. possibly Peiko, very likely Peiko, maybe even a distant 1-2-3 Sanchiku. Lots of options here for Lucas. On the right, oh my goodness, look
Right
at that
is
hand.
crazy.
Wow.
Home
Yeah, I
immediately.
think
Not even a thought.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're calling anything here. You'd love to get Honitsu on top of everything. The question is what suit? And it's probably going to be the So. Although now you even have a
Until-
Toy option. I think I would have just cut the form on there and kept the shot. Oh, 2-shot. Never mind.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, seeing 2 of them discarded already. That's fine. Ooh, great draw with a 3-so.
Hey.
So you're not thinking about Toy anymore. The question is, can you upgrade this to a Honitsu?
Yes, you
Ooh,
can now.
you have Tempai now. Okay, does not take the Honitsu. Looking for Chun 5-pin, where Chun would be let's do some math. Just 5,200.
Home.
I really like cutting 5-pin in that situation. But oh man. Oh yeah, there's the punishment. Meanwhile, on the left, we have Tempai for East only waiting on 5-8 pin. So I guess I would end up
Boom.
dealing in there. And
Yikes.
Bishan does immediately afterwards, and we move on to South Round.
Let's switch to there we go.
Dealer has a Yakuai pair with the South,
Home.
a Dora, which is the Hatsu, and maybe even a Honitsu, but I think you're just calling anything here. On the right, we have pretty standard pin fu hand, distant 6-7-8 or 5-6-7 or 7-8-9 Sanshku, but it just
Across
looks
is
like pin
almost
fu.
ready.
Across, we have a Chun call, and that is Ishan. No, it's not quite Ishanten yet, because you have a really awkward 2-3-3 and then 5 and then 8. Gets rid of the 8 now. And there's a call from the dealer. On the left, we have a decent hand that's not going to finish when we look at the rest of the table.
With the off-wind pair there.
Yeah, you get that East pair. Like, this is great. Oh, wait, it just heard a South route. Never mind.
Go.
Yeah, now we
The
have
Honitsu.
Inyan going for the Honitsu with Non, potentially with Dora. That's what you really have to do. This 9,
That's
you
9 is
immediately
looking
calling
great.
that. Yeah, take it.
Of course.
Now, which one do you cut? Okay, cuts the 1 out. Haku, 2 out Haku because the Dora indicators. Yeah, that makes sense.
All Haku are out.
I mean, even if you end up Dora Tonki on this with 4 calls, you're perfectly fine with it.
And now on the right, on the left, we've got a pair of norths. So once a north comes out, that pair of east suddenly becomes callable.
Could even call the East now if it came out, figuring it's going to happen later. But you also have to think about the 4 pairs you have. Are you going to cheat toy? Are you ever throwing the door? Is what that comes down to. Ooh, interesting with the
Here's
1 so cut
east.
there.
You gotta figure the north will come out and no call.
Ooh, I don't like the pass there. But we
That
have
was
Tempai
very
across
quick.
the way.
I think he had calls off.
Yeah, I think
This
Lucas
was a
just
close
decided
hand.
this hand was gone at this point. We have Tempai across the way for Chun only, waiting on Formon. Yeah, it's a fold already. Lucas gave up on this hand, which is understandable. It was bad from the start. Getting a little bit of lag, but it just looks like a bunch of sumo Gary. Ah, there's the East.
Kenyon's hand refusing to advance
Yeah.
another step.
Bishan's not taking that one. Well, Kenyon, okay, that's a huge upgrade. You're cutting the East now.
There we go.
This gives you Tempai on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mon, or of course the Hatsu. Can upgrade across the way, but doesn't want to throw any of those lower Mon tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's certainly understandable, because Dia looks scary. You haven't seen Dora at this point. So if
So we
you're
want to
Steve,
do-
you're thinking that's very likely Hanemon plus. Ooh, Tempai.
There's
We'll have to cut the Dora, but I mean, you're going to throw it every time. And I think we're
now
going to see
everyone will
Sidora
be
coming out now.
doing the same.
Well, I think you just cut 4 so here. Yeah. Tempai waiting on 3 mon, 5 mon. And of course, Kenyon's waiting just on the 3 mon. But if you drew the 5 mon, you change the weight.
Running out of draws here to finish this hand.
7 just came out, so it's safe.
And the 3
And
will
looks
not
like
be
we're
arriving.
likely to have 2. Oh, you could call this to deny dealer the last draw. I would. Call with the 6-8, discard the 5, which just came out. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Oh, there's the other Hatsu. But we're going to have 2 players Tempai. And you look at that starting hand, hope there'd be a little bit more, but it just didn't come to pass. And Steve manages to keep Tempai and pick up the 1500. Dealer in South 1-1 as pretty standard Pinfu type hand, maybe callable for tiny. You also have a Dora. Maybe 4, 5, 6 Sanshku, but it's a long way away. On the right, we have decent shapes. That 7 pin really helps. Now just like a standard Pinfu hand. Across the way, we have a double pair of 7 mon, 8 mon, so maybe Peiko there. Really just looks like a Tanyao type shape. But on the left, we have a bunch of ugly shapes, but a potential for a lot of value, especially if you can cut the 9, 4, 6 in so and pull in the Itsu. Of course, if you draw Dora, you'll be fine with that too. So Lucas's hand is one of those that could be very valuable with a couple very key draws, and if you don't get them, the hand's going to be garbage the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Upgrades the 3-5 to Ryankan for Kenyon. Keeping the South around, there is 1 out, so I'd just rather get rid of it. But thinking with the 2 and 5, the 2s largely overlap. And yeah, now we're going to end up in the same place. So you're obviously cutting the South here. There's no reason to hold it. Unless you really want to save tile, which I don't think is justified at this point. Ooh, nice draw on the 9 mon across the way. That is now Ishan 10 for Ricci, possibly Peiko, possible Pinfu. Ooh, speaking of Peiko, we now
Wow.
have dealer Ishan 10 for Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Peiko, Dora.
A lot of really good shapes there for to make that weight. Just one you really want to have.
I think I cut the 9, so yeah, keep your safe tile. This is the type of situation where keeping a safe tile makes a lot of sense. That hand's scary. You might even Dama it with the, let's see, Pinfu, Ipeiko, Tanya, Doria. That'd be Mongun. You could Dama it. But we have a very wide headless Ishanten on the left. Really looking for the Sanshuku with an 8 mon and 8 pin. Kenyon's kind of stuck right now, and everyone else is getting very close. Ishanten on the right as well.
Everyone. Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, I think everyone's Ishanten at this point. Ooh, 5 pin. What an awkward draw. Just throws it back, locking in the Peiko. It says, my shapes are fixed at this point. There's the 8 mon. Ricci Pinfu. The 8 pin will be Sanshoku. So let's see, how many are left? There are no 5 pin and 2 8 pin. So 2 outs left of the wall, which this late is really good.
Opting for the safe.
I think you just call this now. You really wish you were getting a lot more value, but you have to just take the Tempai. You're so sad, but if you're not the first to If you don't have Tempai, you can't win a hand.
I'm always sad to open when I've got an Ipeko shape sitting there.
Oh yeah. Well, you go from Mongon minimum, possibly Hanemon, possibly even Baimon with some fun on the Richi, and go for the 2 Han. And it's very sad, but you have to do it.
Right.
And instead isn't even going to get that. Oh no. We'll see a very last draw here.
Sumo.
Oh! The Haite Richi Sumo Pinfu Haite Sanshoku. And Ura and Hanemon. And just like that, Lucas is in first place.
Wow.
Ooh, that chi, you're going to look back on that log and wonder, was that chi really worth it? That's going to drive the whole table nuts. But regardless, we moved to South 2, and Dealer has a very good shape here. Not quite any value yet, but you have the 2-pin Dora floater, maybe a distant 678 Sanshoku. On the right, we have a pair of Haku and maybe an Itsu in Mon. Across the way, we have pretty standard Pinfu shapes, not much value yet. On the left, we have decent shapes as well, but a Ryoncon in Mon and the 1-1-3 pin are probably going to cut the 1 pin at some point and just take the Dora shape.
I'm looking at our dealer hand, trying to figure out which Manzu will come out.
Let's see. The 1 obviously doesn't fit, and the 7 doesn't really fit. Unless you're going for the Itsu. Oh,
See,
wow.
6 complicates things.
That's really awkward.
We can see.
Oh, okay. That is Tempai decides to dom it. I don't like it. If you're gonna do the Dora cut, just Richi, your other option is to cut the 1 Mon. But I do not like the Dama here.
Maybe hopeful to advance this to Tanyao, but you're waiting on 6-9, so
instead you've given someone else a chance to catch up, but there's the 9, so takes the boring Pinfu only, and when you're that far down, winning 1500 is basically useless. I really don't like that play.
Look
oh my
at this,
goodness.
5 pairs.
That is already Ishan 10 for Chitoi. With 2 Dora and a potential Hatsu weight. Oh, that's just disgusting. You don't call this.
No.
If it were the 6 Mon, 7 Mon, or 5 so you could think about it. But oh my, now you can even go for any. That's 8 Mon gives you the option for a normal hand with a possibly Peiko even.
And even if, man, you can end up waiting on the 9 pin or the Haku, like both extremely good weights for the Chitoi.
Oh yeah,
if that's how it ends up going.
I think we still have to go over the hands, but all the actions on the dealer at this point. We have a hand on the right that has a bunch of pairs as well. Not much value though. Maybe even Toy, but you have that awkward 2-4 Mon. Across the way, we have now an Onko in Mon, probably going for Itsu in So. On the left, we have decent shapes as well, but with what dealer has decent isn't going to cut it here. Dora is the north, and as mentioned earlier, the dealer has 2 of them. Oh, there's the backfire. By discarding the 2, you can't go for the normal hand. If you'd done that, you'd be pretty nice shapes, honestly, but selling out completely on the Chitoi. And when you look at the discards, tell me that doesn't look like Chitoi.
It could be Sanshoku with higher tiles.
Yeah, but I think it's just Chitoi.
Here's a 9.
You throw it back. There are 2 out. It doesn't improve your shape in Mon. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think the 7 so was because of the 3-pin backfire. Now is conscious of a normal hand, but the 7 so is much worse. Because the 1-1-2, especially with a 1 pin out already, I like that shape a lot more. But the 7, you figure the 6s are likely being used. There's your
Oh!
Tempai.
Hey,
Waiting on the 9 pin.
9
Tonki, there are 2 left, and they're both on the wall. And this is always the problem with Chitoy is how do I defend against it? Well, you don't. You reach immediately. Oh, boo. I'd just taken the reach, even bad weight against dealer, figuring I don't know how to defend against this anyway.
There were 2 pairs in the hand, so it
Oh,
is
there's Adora.
defensible.
And the fact that there's no pause for oh, now you have to take that. Oh, wait, Furiton, you can't take that.
No.
Oh, that's so disappointing. And yeah, realize and says, okay, forget this. Now you might see a 3-pin come out and it get cheed.
Still waiting on more 9-pin to come out of the wall.
They're pretty deep in there.
If I am Beachin right now, I'm like, how is this tile not coming out yet? And there it is.
Shortcut to Hanemon. That's the comeback hand you were looking for. No
Mm.
aura, but immediately jumps into first place from deep in fourth. And we have South 2-2 and has another Yakuhai Anko. So lots of value here. You'd love to upgrade this to Honitsu, but you also have Dora Indicator. So Dora would be another path. On the right, we have a pretty
No
wide Rian Shanten, but no value yet. Across the way, we have a whole bunch of pairs. Not quite enough for a Chitoy, probably, but probably an Ipeco in So looks like a decent option. And on the left, we have, I believe that's Ishan 10. Yeah, that's Ishan 10. No value yet. You're looking for the Sanshoku upgrade, but already very close to Tempai. Ooh, and Steve gets an option of which Ryama do you want to cut. Instead, keeps both of the Mon shapes.
Aha.
Ooh.
Draws Dora.
Well, you're just going to go for the Kanchan. So you could even cut the one so if you want to be really greedy and just start calling for Tanyao, which would be potentially Atsuzuke. Although with 2 of the 9 pins, I was worried about that. Ooh,
Nice
now we
pair.
have an Ishan 10 for dealer. Oh, upgrade to Tanyao for Kinyan. Oh,
Now
wow. The 9,
triplet.
so that is a headless Ishan 10, a very wide one. I think you call the 3 and cut the 1.
Not going
Especially
to do
with 3 9-pin out, I don't mind the Atsuzuki even a little bit. Even though I'm notorious for going for a lot of those, it just seems like a great time too. And see, you could have called that and you'd be in a really good situation right now. Well, now we have Tempai on the left
Ooh.
for Tanya waiting on 3-so. 3-so did just come out, so it could be Damad. And that's what's going to happen. Dama waiting on 3-so. Of course, we see 2 of them locked away across, and they're likely not coming out. But the question is, can you get to Tempai first? And still waiting on that 3-so.
More and more tiles that would bring Bisha into Tenpai going in across the way.
Yeah, drawn by everyone else, and that's always the feeling. Is you go, no, they're disappearing. I knew they were at the wall, but I'm not getting them. And poor Bishan is 5 straight draws from this ridiculous Ishan 10. Ooh, we have Tempai across the way waiting on 3-6 mon.
Another 6-pin.
I think you just
draw.
have to call the 6, as sad as it is. Waiting on 4-7 mon. Of course, the 4 is Dora. If you sumo it, that'd at least be some sort of recoup of your losses.
And the 7 is not coming out of anyone's hand, and
No,
the
they seem
last
pretty
one is
locked
discarded.
in. Well, it could come out from Zell, but I don't think so. 2-pin, especially with that draw. Wow, okay. Keeping the wide E-Shunten. There's the sumo on 3-so. And that's one where I would have reached it, especially when it's obvious it wasn't coming out. But then again, I'll always reach it. But don't doubt the power of 3-so. It has a bunch of people who believe in that tile irrationally. Regardless, we're in South 3, and dealer has a nice little Pinfu, possibly Peiko shape with the So tiles. On the left, the South player has an Anko of 3. All right. On the right now, decent shapes, really like the 7-so to pull it together. Across the way, we have pretty standard Pinfu shapes, very distant Sanshoku. Honestly, probably can't even get Pinfu without perfect draws, but you do have the 9-pin floater waiting to accept the 7-pin Dora, although you could always just use as your pair for that matter. And on the left, we have 3 pairs, and honestly, you'd love to connect something to the 4 or the 7. You don't like that Shampon at all. Ooh, there's the 7-pin draw. And just like that, Lucas is now Ishan 10.
I like that 5.
Now Tempai waiting on 7-so. No Yaku, just after Ichi.
There we go.
There are 2 on the wall. In the meantime, we have an Ishan 10 from Bishan as well.
Ooh.
And that's an Ishan 10 from Dealer.
3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 is really nice.
Well, you really hope you don't draw the 6-so or the 6-mon, because then that 7's going to come out.
Right. The danger is not inherently apparent.
Ooh, that's a scary tile. The door indicator
is.
But anything scary here. What do you? Okay, just says forget it. Nothing safer. The 6-so isn't much safer. I can't really throw the 3-mon, so definitely get through the 6. Ooh, there's an extra 7. So only 1 left in the wall now. 2 isn't a problem. You just push that. I think thinking about it a little bit more, I probably would have just pushed the 3-mon. Given a lot more calling options, although you're probably not going to be able to call with a hand like this.
No calling on the 7?
Yeah, see, that's kind of why, is that type of situation. But by keeping the 3 around, you're basically saying, I need the 4. And Tempai now waiting on that 4. You reach, well, you can even Dama here because of the Nakasuji weight, but instead takes the Richi for Richi Tanyao Dora. And we see where a bunch of those 4-mons are. Yeah. They're stuck in the lift and they're never coming out.
No.
And there's the last 7-so. I think the 9-so comes out pretty soon. So I think you'll have safe tiles, and this is just going to be 2 players Tempai at the end of the hand. Both of these situations are kind of tragic. Oh, there's the last 4-mon!
I got excited.
Richi, Tanyao, Dora. No Aura, but that does push Steve. Not quite to first, but really close. Forgot there was a fourth Formon, and that's where it is in the wall. And big deal in there. Dealer has, well, not too much. It is Rian Shanten, but there's not much value. Would accept the two Sodora, but Kanchan, Benchan. On the right, we have a pair of Haku, but we'll get to that in a bit. They're locked off on the left, and decent shapes other than that. Across the way, we have pretty standard Pinfu shapes. The east is not a Yakuhai, so you're fine with that. But the big hand is the one on the left, which looks like Toy, maybe even a distant Daisangan if you start drawing Hatsu. And you're just going to call. The problem is those Haku were just locked up, and there goes any dreams of Daisangan. But you're perfectly fine with Toy if you can get there.
Shosangan still exists.
It does, but maybe a little optimistic here. Dealer is Ishanten. That's what I'm saying. There's a chance, but not much more.
There's a Chun.
Well, that's an easy call. Now, which one do you cut? Okay, keeping the Forso around specifically, so if you get the door, you don't feel bad about this end. But we have Dealer drawing the door, the Tempai. Probably you take the Shampone here with the 1-mon 3-pin weight. This will be Ricci Dora for Dealer, and that 1-mon doesn't look very scary.
Hands.
Meaning there are two in the wall.
And neither is the 3-pin, so no one holding on to any winning tiles for Steve here.
Wow, and cuts the Haku, which is safe, and now tells Lucas that it's safe, and is backed into an Ishan 10, including the Gimbutsu Formon, which could very well come out like right here. But I think Kenyon wants to push this hand, especially with that draw. That is Tempai.
No kidding.
Question is, what do you throw? I think you throw the 6. And given that push, Bishin says, I'm out of here.
A hand that looked explosive to begin with.
Well, Dealer Ricci's always scary because Ricci Dora, which is going to be the most likely hand. Takes the Tempai now. I mean, you're fine with that. Just one Han, but we'll stop the Dealer, who's your main competition for first.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's a cheap deal, and you're fine with that one. You're actually fine with this outcome if you push it. You don't know, but you'd be fine with it. It is Dorasuju, just a terrifying tile. And Chicken's out. The problem with this is, so you get the 6. What does that buy you? That doesn't buy you any extra turns of safety. The 8 isn't safe. You're basically hoping you draw out for the rest of the hand. Five pins safe.
Only one of.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
We'll see. Now you're going to end up pushing the 5 anyway, which is another really scary tile.
But goes for it.
And we have an Ishan 10 on the right, looking for 3-so, 7-so.
And Steve's tiles just refuse to come out of the wall.
They're stuck in the wall because it's 3 out still. There's one 3-pin on the right, and that's it. Like 6-so's Nakasuji. Oh
no!
My goodness! There's the 5. And if Bishin would have been willing to push the 6, which I think would have been fine, it would have been a double roan. One Han either way, but regardless, we move to South 4, and we have 3 players over 30,000.
We see Steve has 2 pairs of Yakuhai here.
Another Haku Jun pair. Dealer has decent shapes, needs to pull in a 3-so and a 7-pin, make anything from it though. And there's the call, just going full speed at this point. Probably just locking in the second here. You're not getting any more value out of it, but seems perfectly content getting second. On the right, we have pretty standard pin fu shapes. Not much value there, except for that whole two Dora thing. Across the way, we have Richi Pin Fu Sanjiku. You also have a 9 So Door, but it doesn't connect anything, so I think it's going to end up getting cut. And yeah, it does. It gets cut right there. Oh, okay. We have
wow.
Tempai on the
Okay,
left.
Tempai.
It's actually very important for Kenyon not to deal the 3, and I think it may come out right here. This is a very scary situation. It may come out right here. If not, it's
Yeah,
well, there it is.
I
The
find
docs
it
are under
hard to
30K.
discard
Oh, that's a
anything else.
huge deal in. The 1,000 deal
Ugh.
in that actually costs you 6,000. Oh, that's so rough. And regardless, we have Bishan winning off of that big dealer Hanuman with a sumo on Chitoi. Steve in second. Kenyon, unfortunately, dropping below 30K with that deal in and all last. And Lucas taking a fourth place at 21,000. And that always feels really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you have above 20,000 and it's a fourth, it's really depressing. And you can see over in the stats, we now have 3 of the top 4 players in the A1 league at this table.
Harsh drop from. I don't remember quite what the standings were before, but
I think it was 2, 3, 5, 6.
everyone's still positive in the standings.
Yeah, well, even with that fourth, Lucas didn't take a huge hit. It's
Mhm.
just that 15 Uma really hurts. And is sitting in the middle of the pack right now because there's some bias in A1 towards the positive because, of course, we have a substitute who will not count for demotion. So actually, the 12 slot is still demotion within A1. Of course, you don't think any of these players are necessarily going to demote, but there isn't that much space if Kaz or Dustin or Simon hit a big game or two.
Mhm. It is a large gap between demotion and not, but not
Yeah, right now
insurmountable.
there's some buffer space, but there are also still 12 games for everyone. And at this
Mhm.
table, they still have 15 games.
I will be right back, hopefully before the game begins.
Looks as though they took a break. I don't see it up on the broadcast, so it'll be at least 5 minutes. I'm going to take a break as well. We're back, and the game will be starting in a minute or so. But as you can see from the standings, and as we mentioned a little bit before the break, three of the top four scorers in the league in this game. So this is a really important match. Of course, they'll have two more tomorrow, and that'll kind of set the tone for what it's going to take to end up winning this league. You have Eric, who's the only person who isn't in this top four who is in the top four who isn't in this game, and he of course won last season. But ultimately, at the end of the year, there will be a playoff spot allocated to each season winner, and Eric is ineligible because he's already gotten one.
I'm looking at everyone's stats in the top right corner there and seeing the huge win percentages and the minuscule deal in percentages and kind of just being like, what if I
Well,
knew how
you
to
could always look at my stats and generally feel a little bit better about yourself, especially last season, where I ended up winning my league, my pool, and I think I have like a 23% win and a 16 or 17% feed rate.
Hell yeah.
So it's one of those, what do you focus on? Do you focus on the spread? Do you focus on winning big hands? Do you focus on not dealing in? Of course, getting to Steve's level where you have 26% win and 7.5% feed, that's just ridiculous. I'll
Not a
never
chance.
be able to do that.
All right.
But we have a game starting now, and Deer has a decent hand. Would Lear like to pull in a Tuso, but could be Ricci Pin Fudora type shape. Could also use a 6-pin and a 5-mon. On the right, we have, well, not much. Probably Pin Fu. You do have a door. If you can pair that up, you go for each Pin Fudora 2. Maybe you get a Peiko in Mon now. Across the way, we have decent shapes as well, but you have that Penchon 1-2 Mon. And on the left, we have, again, pretty standard Pinshu shape. Maybe cut the 1-mon pair and go Tanyao as well. Potential 6-7-8 Sanshuku down the line. But honestly, no good hands. A couple decent ones.
We're getting better here with the dealer hand. You do have that unfortunate looking 1-3-5-7 shape.
Yeah, that's pretty bad on the 1-3-3-4. That'd be good if you only needed one shape, but you're probably gonna have to get two out of that because you have to use the 1-so as its Dora.
Mm-hmm.
There are other options, maybe a distant 3-4-5 Sanshoku, but that just seems optimistic as well. It's just a really okay. That gives you a
Ooh.
lot of options. We'll take the Ishanten. Really, still needs that Tuso,
Right.
and there are two in the wall because we see Steve with two as well. Steve is now not quite Ishanten, but a pretty wide Rian Shanten. Yeah, oh my goodness, there's the Tusa, Ricci Pin
Wow.
Fudora. Oh, that was always going to be the choke point in this hand, drawn at the last second.
Waiting on 2-5, which is almost dead.
Well, it's because Steve has all of them. We have four there, and then everyone else has one. So there is one left in the wall, just a single Tuso. And it would just be Ricci Sumo Dora. You don't have Pinfu because the Anko of Formon, but you're not going to complain if you win this hand.
No.
And Kenyon would love to push this, but it's just stuck with that Dora. You can't push that into the dealer Ricci here.
Right.
So your only option is really Chitoy. And it is Rian Shanten for Chitoy. But even that 6, if once it wasn't Dora, I could at least see an argument for calling it. But I think everyone at this table is just going to have to give up. That's the problem when
we already
you have
see Lucas.
3 isolated 1-so Dora.
Mm-hmm. We already see Lucas starting to fold.
So the real question is, does anyone back into Chitoy or does Bishan pull in that Tuso? Otherwise, it's probably just going to be a draw with one player Tempai.
Mm-hmm. Man. Just the continued great draws for Kenyon, but it's just so hard to
It doesn't matter if you don't draw another Dora. There is no way you're pushing that.
Mm-mm.
It's at least trying to push a little bit, but the 8 pin isn't that dangerous. Just Kabe give with the all four 7-pinner out and one 8 pin, so it doesn't deal into much. The 3's safe. Honestly, you could call for maybe Chinitsu in a while. Ooh, I'd pwn that and cut 2 mon, and then think about what I want to do in a bit. There is no end to how greedy I can be. But with that, it's just you're giving up here.
Yeah. It is Ishan 10. So he could end this.
There's the last Uso. There's only one in the wall and it hits it. No aura, but 6,000. Wow.
And a great,
And
great
pretty good
draw.
starting hand here for potentially Riichi Pinfu. Could even go Chinitsu, could go Itsu, all sorts of options there for dealer. On the right, we have a bunch of pairs and not much else. Across the way, we have a pretty nice hand there as well. Potentially Riichi, Pinfu, Sanshoku. Well, probably just Tanyao now. Riichi, Tanyao, maybe Inipeku and Pin. On the left, another potential Chinitsu hand. Cut the
Man.
8 mon. Oh, boo. Boo.
Love big hands. This.
Well, it's more that if you and
Oh, there it is.
so why? Yeah, so you cut it now. Why would you keep the 8 mon over the east when you're going to do this anyway? So it ends up in the same place, but I'm
Oh,
still
my
a little
goodness.
disappointed. Oh wow, that is a ridiculously wide Ishunten.
Whew.
Ooh, the 3. Not taking
Yeah,
the potentially Peiko shape, but given all the 4s and 2s visible, I can at least see it. Now we
right.
have. Is that?
I think I would still throw the 7 pin over 3 mon though.
Yeah, it's a really wide Ishunten, not Tempai across the way. Basically, any So tile will be Tempai.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, would you even want it if you drew something like the?
Like a 1.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it wouldn't. Hold on. There, that's perfect draw. There's your
There
Riichi
we
Tanya waiting
go.
on 2-5.
All right. Again, unlikely for the 2-5 so to come out.
Well, the 5 may come out from dealer. It's one of those we'll see.
Oh, true.
It's a really dangerous tile, but if
'Cause
you draw maybe another 7 pin, then you're gonna reach you with the 5.
Right. Oh
Oh,
no.
that's so
Oh
disappointing.
no.
Okay, yeah, I like the 7
Avoids it
to begin
deftly.
with. But if you connect anything to that Mon shape, you're gonna, yeah, you're reaching Delian here.
Man.
リーチ
There it is.
4
Yeah, there's no way around that, and that's one of those that it's just a good deal in. It's not that expensive. It's not like there
Right.
was a bunch of aura. So you'll deal into
It does,
26 every time with that hand.
Cut into the lead a lot though. Not that it was
Well,
huge.
you're not that worried about it in East 1. But we're in East 2. Dealer has a completed shape in So and a whole bunch of lone honors. On the right, we
Yikes.
have a Chun pair, probable 1-2-3 Sanjuku, where 1 pin is Dora. Across the way, we have a Shaw pair, which is Yakuhai, and decent shapes other than that. And on the left, we have maybe an Itsu in So, but other than that, the shapes are pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 pins, you don't like them, but you have to keep them for now.
Right. I see someone who wants them more, but
Yeah,
no.
would love to see that on the right. Oh, I'd cheat that instantly.
1
Yeah. takes it. Now you have some questions, though.
Right.
Okay, I like this 7. You really want this hand to have the 1 Pandora. But the interesting thing is this means you may end up passing on Chun if it comes out. You see the Shaw call across the way. That is an Ishan 10 now. Oh, and there's the Chun.
Will it be called though? You have the pair. It's all set. Now you have
I
to
think it's
build a
fine.
new pair.
Well, it's because if you don't get the Dora, this shape's terrible. And you're fine. This way you get Tempai with anything of 1, 2, 3 Mon, 1, 2, 3, 4 pin. So that you have a whole bunch of options to cheapen the hand, though, if it's anything but the 1 Mon pair.
I grew too attached to the Chanta.
Well, you
Not
can
even
still get Chanta if you get the 1 Mon pair up. Meanwhile, the rest of the hands honestly aren't really coming together.
No,
You
they're
have
not.
still Ishan 10 across the way. See that forward, you really want it. I guess, but now you're Tonki with the 1. And now you have a 3-sided Tempai across the way for Steve.
I guess you don't really expect the 1 pin to just be played. So
No, you figure you're going to have to draw it yourself, but there's so much value.
Like, yeah, you are losing 2 Han.
Yes, this would be the 1,000 opposed to the 3,900. One Mon does come out, though. And that's when you look at the logs, you go, really? That's what I dealt in for?
Pair of Norths.
Yeah, that will be Yakuhai for Lucas. We start with Dealer.
On the right.
Ooh, Dealer has an awkward 6-8-8-8-8 shape, but maybe if you get rid of that 1-2 Mon, potential. Ooh, I definitely want to cut the 1-2 over the 3. But does take the efficient play, but the cheap play. And on the right, of course, we have the Hatsu call, and that is actually Ishan 10 already with the Dora.
Pays
Wow. Okay. Ooh, okay. Definitely going for the con here in a bit. We have Tempai on the right for 2,000. If you get any Tempai here, you're just going to con immediately. Could even con right now as Dealer.
Wait for Tempai, then con, Rinshan, boom, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of the hands, decent, but not going to be fast enough for Bishan. And honestly, bad for Lucas.
I want to see the miracle 6-0 draw, but I guess you could pitch 5-7 here. Not going to do it.
Ooh, see, okay, I definitely would have conned on that 9 draw because then you have Rion Con and the Rionman. You'd be fine with that. Uh-oh, 9 pin could come out right here. Throws the 5 because it's safe. Seems to have given up on this. Again, and I'm instant conning this. Okay, does get this con. And interesting because the 5-so is now a Dora as well. This makes the handoff to the right now have 2 Dora and Dealer with a Dora. 2 Dora for that matter. The same ones even. Oh, you just breachy. Yeah, it's sad that you have to do that with the new Dora, but you're just going to take it every time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And we have 2 players both waiting on 6-9. But there's the 6. Sumo immediately gets the 4,000 and the Ricci stick. And that's kind of unfortunate for Kenyon. But Steve pulls in a nice little 5,000 there.
I wanted to see the aura.
Now that's 7 on discard indicates this is either a Chanta, Sunshuku, or even a Kokushi attempt.
Yeah, 9 of them down here.
This is so bad of a hand. Ugh, and you're cutting the Dora indicator too. You're kind of giving up on this hand from turn one. And if you saw what was happening on the right, you'd understand why. Because that's already Ishan 10 for Richi Tanya, maybe any Peiko upgrade in. So across the way, another beautiful hand.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly Peiko in pin, all sorts of pairs, distant Suanko, 2 Dora. Jeez. And on the left, we have a hand that's slightly better than the dealers, but not by much.
Oh, 2 Wests out already. Oh, there's a pair.
Gee,
Yeah, Steve is hard committing
Home.
for the Kokushi, and oh my goodness, Tempai and the
Yum.
5-so comes out. And just with all that potential for both players, it just turns into a quick 1,000 hand.
Oh, man.
And Lucas has to be so disappointed because that was 2 Dora, potentially Ricci. Well, the caller made wasn't Ricci, but could have pwned a Dora, and it's another dumb 1,000-point Kanchan win. But we move on to South Round, and very nice hand here for the dealer. 2 Dora, potential is 6, 7, 8 Sanshku, probably Tanya. On the right, we have potential Itsu in pin. A couple awkward shapes outside of pin, but so I guess you may end up going for Chinitsu depending on what you draw. Across the way, we have an Anko of Shaw, which is the Yakuhai, and very good shapes. Even 4, 5, 6 Sanshku, especially with that draw. On the left, we have decent shapes, but really the 7 pin and maybe 6, 7 so to pull it together it's one of those that feels better than it actually is.
2, 3, 5, 6, 8.
Yeah, there are a lot of tiles that are close to each other, but they just don't quite come together.
Meanwhile, we get a nice 8-so draw to help this hand, to help the dealer's hand out a lot.
Yeah, I like the 1-mon cut there. So you're
Me
probably just going to
too.
call for Tanyao Sanchuku Dora 2 anyway. Ooh, very wide Ishan 10 now across the way. The 6
wow.
the 6-so draw, that is huge. This could potentially be Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanshuku, Peiko, Dora 2.
Pun?
Yeah, I'd pwn. I'm kind of sad you're giving up the value, but it's Tanya Dora 2. The Sanchuku's gone at this point, so you're fine with it. We have Tempai on the right. That is 3-sided.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why you're taking the Dama here, especially now you have... Ooh, do you call it? I'd pwn it.
Yes.
You're going from Ishan 10 to Ishan 10.
Not
Instead
calling it.
Oh, wow. Oh, and keeping the 5
have been able to
instant chi
resist.
there.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Waiting on the 7 pin. And this is... Okay, so what Steve's doing is Steve is hard sold out for the Chinitsu at this point. But you have to realize that people are getting faster. Like, you have to just throw it in now. You could make an argument to greed, but okay, well is that a Yaku? Let's see.
No.
Yes, it is. It's Pinfu on a 258. Should have reached. To me, I feel you should have reached it a long time ago. Instead,
There's
this
a
is very
7.
likely going to deal in.
There we go.
Yeah, deals into the Tanya Dora 2.
Extend that lead.
But Lucas, with a 3-sided Pinfu weight, probably should have reached way earlier. And you wouldn't have had that mess. You would have probably had some pushes into it, but you ended up giving up your advantage and even passed on a win.
We're Ishan 10 at dealer.
Dealer has a beautiful hand for Ricci Pinfu Dora 2. My goodness. Anything we're going to see if the rest hands is going to match up. pretty good hand for Lucas as well, just not Ysunton for Ricci Pinfudora too. Across the way, we have possible Chitoy, but probably just Tanyao. On the left, we have decent shape. There's your Tempai. Decent
Wow.
shapes, but there's your Tempai for Ricci Pinfudora 2 waiting on 5/8 pin. As there's another 5, so there's only one 5-pin
Look at
left and
there's
2 8-pin.
again. So many are just already taken and unlikely to come out. The 5 being in the middle of that 357 shape on the right makes that very unlikely to leave.
Well, even so, it's in a Dora shape. Specifically, this type of situation, you're almost never pushing it.
Mhm.
Even here, Zell has potential to go for value, but I don't think he's ever going to push it. Interesting option. Could have called the Tuso if you decided to push for Kenyon instead of just giving up with his hand and taking the 2 safe tiles. Which, especially with Dealer Ricci, is probably fine. It's very frustrating in 4th place, but you have to minimize your losses.
Something I focus on a bit too much because it doesn't really matter that much is how good someone's discards are after reach. Like seeing the 2-3 so that have already been discarded, it's like, man, you are giving very little information out.
Yeah, it is very frustrating for the rest of the players. Of course, the Tuso became pretty safe pretty quickly, and everyone's gotten rid of them. Even the 4 doesn't give that much information because with the turn 3 reach, you could even trust Suji. Decides there isn't anything better, so I'll trust Suji. But if I were going to push a Suji, especially across the way, it'd be the Tumon. Yeah, see, Tumon's reasonably safe. It already came out a few turns ago. So, yeah, okay, now it's cut from Kenyon's hand. And we haven't commented on it, but we're down to 1 left.
Yeah, I was just counting them up. Only 1 8-pin remains.
And those discards. So how likely do you think this is a pin weight?
Oh, let's see, 3,000,000% approximately.
Yeah, I don't think you can even push the 1 pin into this.
I would be terrified to discard even a single Pinsu. Like,
yeah,
aside from the 2, I don't even.
but yeah, I
Like, the
expect
Suji
Kenyon
trap
to
is
throw the
there,
2s.
but I don't think anyone's gonna fall for it.
Well, it's not a Suji trap because
Well,
it's
it's not
exactly
a
this type
trap.
of shape. Well, it's not even a Suji here. Because the 5 is not safe, specifically because it could also be on the 6/7 side. And a half Suji is never worth pushing.
Mhm.
You have to just treat that as a live Rionman in that case. Ooh, there's the Dora.
Wow.
And if I'm Steve, it's instantly gone from my hand. And Kenyon tried to do some dance, we didn't get there, and nope, that's gonna be it. Despite how
well.
that hand started, just 3,000.
I say just, but
You'll absolutely take it for sure. And again, gets Yakuhai and Adora. So Bishan just rolling in South Run Dealer, last Hanchan and this one. On the right, we have awkward shapes in Mon, decent shapes elsewhere, a bunch of pairs. Across the way, we have wow, that's very close to a Stanonko Tanyao. And on the left, we have double Yakuhai and wanted to go for the Hanitsu probably, but now drawing a Dory, you'd have to go for more conventional hand.
double Yakuhai?
Sorry, 1 Yakuhai and another wind pair.
Probably calling that.
Yeah, you're just going to take the Ishunten here. You'd like more, but even if you didn't have anything in the middle, you'd have to just take it. But here, you're
Oof.
perfectly fine with it, with the 1600 in the middle. We also have Chitoy Ishan on the right.
Hell yeah.
Home.
Can call the East for Tempai, waiting on that 5-pin. There are only 2 left, but they're both in the wall. We have Ishan 10 across the way as well. Would be Ricci Tanya Dora. Of course, since it's Tanya, you can always call. Not getting Isanshiku. I don't really see any Pinfu. Unless you draw the Formon, then you have some options. Could even call this and cut the 8, but I think you need more points. And does con. Instant con. And there it is,
Hell yeah.
instant con. And adds a 1-pin. There's only one, and it's on the right, but that's a Chitoy hand, so perfectly fine with that. Ooh. You cut the 8 so here normally. Yeah, and does. Oh, a 3-pin. Yeah, that's another one of those cursed problems with Chitoy is you'll end up drawing Onkos and now just folding.
Yeah.
Saying if we get Shinitsu or Hanitsu, it's fine. Otherwise, I don't think I can push into this stuff. The con is just always scary. Could call for Tempai, and it's getting later. Decides not to. I mean, the 5 just came out, so that's fine. Oh, that 4 is so
Yikes.
scary, but just has to push it.
Right.
When you're in last, like with a hand like this, you just have to go.
And not a
Now
distant last
dealer
either.
is Ishan 10. Does take the 4. Can cut the 2 later. It's safe against the 10. Ooh. Well, I mean, you're not going to throw the 5. You're always going to throw the 8 anyway. If you throw the 5, it's just a mistake.
Nice. Good. See the 2.
Yeah, 2 doesn't feel safe against the hand of the right. Okay, it's just folding now. Speaking of 2s.
Speaking of 2s. 1, 2, 3, pair 3, 3, 4.
Well, we're still. Yeah.
It's coming together.
Oh, still need one last draw though, and of course, if you're Kenyan, you're like, how have I not won this hand yet? How have I not even gotten to Tempai yet? Ooh,
Wow.
and there's a second door for dealer. Now you're. Oh my
Whoa.
god!
Okay.
I mean, it passed across the way,
Jeez.
but okay. There's the Tempai. This is Ricci. Dora waiting on South and Formon. Of course, there is one Formon left, but all the rest of the tiles are in dealer's hand.
Yeah,
And you could push the 7 so because you're waiting on Genbutsu here, but instead just folds. Now you just call that. I mean, you're just disgusted. You chi this, you throw the 4, you threw your arms up in disgust, but I think there's a Kabe of 5 so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all 4 of those and a 1 so. Absolutely worth
All right,
taking
we'll see if
the
that
G
last
there.
draw works out, and it does
No, 2 players Tempai. That whole hand was just unfortunate for Kenyon. Beautiful Ishan 10. It comes together on the second last turn for basically just the Tempai payments. And Lucas has a Yakuhai pair, distant 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku, but you're probably just looking for the one Han here, especially with the 2,900 in the middle right now. And there's a call, the one Mon across the way. That'll be a Hanitsu. All right, we have decent Rian Shunten, a whole bunch of pairs. Ooh, that's an awkward draw. What do you do? Keeps the options open for Ipeco, for Sanonko, lots of choices. With the big hands across the way, that is a Honitsu, maybe an Itsu, love to pwn the Haku. And on the left, that's another one of those decent hands. Wow. One of those decent hands that's just not fast enough for this table. Now, if you're Lucas, you cut the 2-4 knowing that they're really expensive on the board. Well, regardless, decided to cut the 8 so anyway. You have the Peiko option later. And now says, okay, yeah, especially after the 3 isn't called, that means it's probably not Tempai yet. Let's see if we can maneuver.
Do you reach here? Yeah.
But we do have temp. Oh yeah, it's a garbage weight, but you're fine with it specifically because of now you have 3,900 in the middle. The incentive for everyone is push, 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 push.
Right.
And there are 3 outs left in the wall on the 4-so, 6-so Champon. The other 6 is in Lucas's hand, and that's never coming out. And we have a Tempai on the left for, that's nice. A lot more expensive than I realized. That is Ricci Dora 2, and if it wins on Shaw, which is entirely possible from Steve's hand, that would be, oh wow. Now I think you just cut the East.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for your value.
That town, yeah. Nope.
I mean, the 2 is safe from 1 Ricci, but not 2 of them. It is 1 chance against the Bishan Ricci. But the 3-so Shaw, we see 1 3-so in the pawn, 1 Shaw in a hand, so there are 2 outs left in the wall.
Sumo.
Oh, there's the sumo on the 4-so. It just Ricci sumo.
Miura?
But there's Tuura. And just like that, Kenyon's now in first place, especially with the gigantic 4,900 in the pot.
Wow.
Wow. Kenyon has a decent hand here. Possible 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku, probably Tanya. Could also use a Dora, which is 8-so. On the right, we have another beautiful hand, potentially Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeco, Tanyao, and refresh.
I was counting terminals and honors in the hand across.
Now we can see it, and it's the Junchan or nothing type hand. And it looks like a lot of nothing, honestly. Maybe 789 Sanshoku. The Tumon pair is really awkward to use, though. It's probably just a bad hand. Oh, 2 Dora now. Now you're gonna. That's actually a bad draw because it may incentivize you to push a lot more than you should. Normally, this is a great door, but that's such a bad hand. On the left, we have decent shapes in Mon and not much else. But the 2 hands to pay attention to are the dealer, Kenyon, and Steve on the right. Ooh, nice draw on the 6 Mon.
Drop that East.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep safety here. Means the Sanshoku won't happen, but there's even a path to Rion Peiko here.
Oh, my dream. I want to Rion Peiko so bad. It's my dream, Yaku. I've been Ishan 10 for it 3 times. Or no,
I've won it, I think, only 2 or 3 times. It's really hard. Ooh, now an Onko of 3 pin on the right. So the question is, what shape? Okay, takes the widest Ishan, figuring maybe an 8-pin draw would be great.
There's one over here.
Yeah,
Gonna
you
call
need
it.
more value here. You're never calling that. You need
No.
so much more. It's just such a beautiful hand.
Oh, pain.
The 7-pin, and you figure at least another one's being used. You probably figure that's at best one left in the wall now, and that's exactly the situation. Now the hand across is starting to slowly come together given the Chun pair, but you still have a Penchon, a Kanchan, a floating 5, and a bunch of pairs. Oh, that's disappointing. I mean, you have to Ricci it, but
Right.
that's so disappointing. Ricci Nomi on 4-7-1.
Yeah, it's a sad draw. The one you want it, the like least favorable way to reach Tenpai there.
Yeah, that's one where you hit the button, walk away from your computer, and go punch a wall.
Nice.
Uh-oh, that Formon may come out pretty soon. Yeah, it
God.
comes out
There it
every
is.
time. This will be a Ricci, and it's going to deal in for the Ricci Nomi.
Oh man. And you think you got such a good chance at this one too. There it goes.
Yeah. Are there any Aura?
There's
One Aura, so that's actually pretty big for Steve. Gets him over 30,000 going into all last. And it really hurts Kenyon because now there's a gap of 2,200 as opposed to 900 where any one on hand will do enough to come back.
What does Steve need to get the lead?
Well, Steve needs to win hands. There isn't that much thought when you're dealer in South 4. But you're probably just going for the Tanyao here. You have a couple lone Yakuhai. On the right, we have bad shapes as well. Maybe distance 789 Sanshuku. You have a Dora. If you can pull on a 2-pin, which is the door indicator. Across the way, you have a Call of Shaw, which is the Yakuhai. That by far looks like the most likely hand to win. But if you're in Lucas's position, you want to go for the Hanitsu, and calls the Non as well. And it's selling out on the Hanitsu, which is absolutely the right play here.
Yeah, this is this would be.
Oh my
what,
goodness,
a
you even
7,700
Toy
Toy?
Yeah, it'd be Mongon. We would play with Kiriaga Mongon, so it's always going to round to 8,000.
Okay.
But that any win, like regardless of how it happens, will pull someone else under 30K. And any win, I believe, yeah, if he wins this, he will not get left, regardless of how it is won. Now Tenpai waiting on 3-mon. It's drawn on the left, but it's not going to come out because we now have Tanya Dora 2 also waiting on 3-mon.
Wow.
You're not calling this. There's no way.
You'd hate to see a double roan. My heart's jumping. It's gonna jump at every Monzu that Steve draws from this point on.
2, so it's yeah. Steve's like, okay, I think I'm in trouble here.
Yeah.
I hope they don't sumo something big, or they deal into each other. And you're just throwing the 6-pin back. You're never breaking Tenpai. Neither of these are ever breaking Tenpai.
Lucas's weight can still improve easily too.
Yeah, Steve says, well, maybe we can do some maneuvering. Let's see. But that 1-mon is just so terrifying. Because you didn't get rid of it earlier, it's just stuck in the hand now.
Right.
But the real question is, ooh.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh. Chi. Now, you're obviously cheating. The question is, what are you doing afterwards? Okay, takes the K10, cannot win, but is just not going to. Oh, we have a weight upgrade across the way. There's now a 4-7 weight. And interestingly, this means if oh no!
My God.
Oh, that's so
There's
scary.
no way. There's no way,
Oh,
right?
nailed it! There's the Mun Gun. And just like that, Kenyon has dropped to fourth. Lucas doesn't get enough to get to 30,000. We'll take the small negative. And again, Vishen comes out with a win, a small win, 35,000, but that's good enough. Steve manages to dodge the fire and escapes with that positive 5.8 with 30,800 as dealer and all last. That's really hard to do. And Lucas with a minus 5.8, getting the Mungon, but without any Richu 6, it's not going to get you over that 30K, and you couldn't quite get to Toy Toy with that hand. And Kenyon with that deal and it all last, playing for first, and unfortunately just deals in at the very end there and drops down to fifth.
Unfortunately, my stream lagged right at the last discard there, so I didn't get to have the reaction that I definitely would have had. But this was a great pair of games.
Oh yeah, these are good players. This was pretty representative of what you'd expect from the four of the top six
Basically, the top
players going
players.
into this match. So, any big thoughts on? Well, okay. First things first. Are there any other games going on right now?
Let's check it out.
Nope, I'm not seeing anything up right now. So, given that, we have Lucas still there at plus 0.6. So, ended up being the punished one in this group, was actually starting to climb back, had a really unfortunate disconnect in his first game of session one, and had been fighting back from that. It really started to pull it together towards the end of session two, but takes a couple big hits here. But this one mitigated because of that Mongon and all last. Steve extends his lead, jumps into first place. Vishen gets two first. Not that many points from either, but 30 will do a lot for you. And Kenyon loses a bit as well.
Still in the
But
top five.
that's the type of game you'd expect from A1 players, is just a lot of awkward maneuvering and fear against Tempai, not dealing in as much unless you feel you just have to throw the tile, and building for value. Is we had a bunch of really close matches, but they were, especially that first one, was blown open
Yeah.
by that dealer Hanemon in South 3, because Bishan was in big trouble going into that hand. And with that,
in the first place.
with that, I think that's about all I have. Any closing thoughts, Brett?
I'm just happy to be broadcasting another pair of insane games. This was great.
All right, check out the YouTube. We could always use subs on that. If you're not following us here on Twitch, hit the follow button. And this is Korak along with Brett for the American Riichi Mahjong League, signing off.
Goodbye.